Hello students, welcome back to our virtual learning session. We are beginning with a new chapter, chapter number 7. If you have any doubts with chapter number 6, that is creating customer delight, you can always talk to me. You can leave your messages, your queries on Google Classroom. You can email them to me, or you can even channelize me through the numbers that have already been given to you by the coordinators. We are here again with chapter number 7, which is creating brand identity. Now, there are various ways in which you can create a brand identity. It can be through the medium of marketing. It can be through the medium of an icon that you have. So, for example, Virat Kohli did an advertisement for Manyavar. Manyavar is a very local Ahmedabad brand, but after he became the face of it, there were so many people who came to know about this particular brand, and they have another section for the brides, which is known as Mohe, and which was advertised by Alia Bhatt, and truly it has become really famous because of that. If you know about this one particular brand called policybazaar.com, it's a website for purchasing and reviewing policies around the globe, and Akshay Kumar is the brand ambassador, and he has created the craze. He has created a different he has created a whole different charm for the website, and nobody could think that a simple thing, something so boring, something so serious like buying a car policy or buying a life policy could be that wonderfully portrayed when it comes to advertising. That is the beauty of advertising. But apart from that, if you are a small company owner, if you are a small brand owner, how are you going to build identity? Through your logos, through your names. And we already know in the beginning of the chapter, we have already learned that you have to name your brand, or you have to name your company with your own personal name. Very few names actually do not have their own names, family names, and yet they are extremely famous, like the Reliance brand. We already have discussed many examples of the same, but when you have so many other names, it becomes when you have your own nomenclature, you have your own name to the brand, it makes a huge difference. So for example, Mehta Associates, or Jani Brothers, or Parikh and Sons, and then you have very common names in Ahmedabad. If you hear, there is Induben Khakrawala, Sonalben Khakrawala, you have Jasuben Ka Pizza, you have Shambhu's Coffee Bar, and you have Danny's Coffee Bar. And how many people relate to those names? You know, if they are traveling to Ahmedabad, or if there is anything specific, people would completely bring up, people would want to go to that place first. People would want to go to that place first, or that would be the first name, which is a very common name. It's very common heard name in a particular vicinity. So moving on, you have something called if you have Bharat Tailors or Kailash Ghee or anything that is very specific, it actually portrays a person, it actually portrays an idol. So only very few people who name their company as Reliance, and they can actually go famous. And we have also done a lot of case studies where we have learned that Reliance also failed many times before it became this famous, and yet the entire clan is known as the Ambanis, right? It is the Ambani venture, it is the Ambani this thing, the Ambanis bought that. They never say the Reliance company bought it. There are too many people who are part of Reliance, but it is always the name that is coming on the forefront. So it is Ambani did that, and Ambanis are going to invest this much, Ambani is going to help these many people and be a part of charity, and so on and so forth, right? This is a perfect example that we have read a lot of times. Moving on, we have many local names which are difficult to remember. You have something called the Mafatlal brothers, and of course, if you have a look at it in the if you are a new person, it would definitely sound very funny, but it is great name. It has made its great top notch It has made its great it has made its own great identity, and that is the reason why we all believe that if there is a personal name attached to it, if there is a face attached to it, it will make a great difference, even though you have so many sister concerns with various different names like Tata and Tanishq, yeah, something that we have already discussed in the class earlier. Now moving on, what we are going to study in this particular class is how to create your own logo for the brand, and why should we do that. By the end of this particular video, I'm also going to give you a task. Since I know you are all at home and at ease, you can work at your own free time. Why don't you just try and build your own logo? So this is going to be a part of your big project by the end of this semester, and I want you all to start looking at various products around you and start understanding how a product's logo affects its market and affects its audience. To begin with, I quickly, in the first 5 minutes, whatever that came into my own eyesight, I picked up those things. So for example, Vision Eye, yeah, they have, it's a chashme ka dukan. Yes, a spectacle store. It has many branches throughout Ahmedabad. But what I really loved is the logo. Yes, and it is perfect. It is perfect, and the name is perfect. It does not have any family name. It does not say Kishore Bhai ka Vision Eye Plus, yes, or any other name. I don't know the name of the person who owns it. But this is what you are supposed to learn at this point, that if you have a perfect name and if you have a logo that carries along with it, that means you can build various franchises, and that is what a lot of people do when there are various partners, when there are various franchisees that needs to be given. So for example, Domino's, right? The vision was to build various franchisees for a longer time. So for example, this particular place, ice cream place called Dairy Den, okay, no name of a person or an idol or an icon, but again, it is perfect if you want to create a particular vision. When you listen to the name dairy, you instantly come to know it has something to do with milk product, and that is enough. Again, I have another one I could pick up, Enrich. Yes, it says love begins with you. Definitely it is something to do with pampering. It is something to do with love. The the entire name, it does not have a logo that is very messy. It is pretty clean, a logo. Plus what I really loved about it is there is no capital letter. Yeah, no capital letter, and it has a heart. It is cute. It makes you wonder, and it catches your eye. Now we are going to talk about the color red with no other colors later in the second part of this chapter. If you already know this brand, look at the I don't know how you do that, yeah, but look at the logo. Britannia has created its logo. It has been the same logo for many years, and you are already aware of certain companies like Parle and Britannia, which keeps on changing its packaging, but it keeps the logo the same, or even if it changes the logo here and there to try and lure the newer generation of consumers. The change is very minimal to the amount. Again, I have this one more concept. If you look at the particular logo, it says curls. Can you is it visible now? Yes, it says curls. Now I really want you to look at the logo. Yes, it has curly hair strands. It has the way it is written. It also has a little curvy font, which actually is very identical to what the company might be doing. You already know with the look in my video that yes, this is my product. Again, there is another product that I want you to see. Okay, this is wait a second. Yep. Okay, Look at this. This is a Nature's Secret. This is another brand, and it makes everything that is perfectly aligned to nature. It has a lot of natural products inside it, and that is why the reason for the picture, for the logo, and it actually makes very much it actually makes a lot of sense when you have a logo that actually talks about your brand. So even if you do not have a name, all these particular products and the logos that I showed to you does not have a person's name, but it still gives an identity to the company, the brand, what it is doing, and who it is working for. So in the earlier years, when there was no social media available, the only way you could actually show your clients or your consumers your logo or your brand name was through business cards. Yes, with the coronavirus thing, I don't think anybody is going to give their business card like this. It is going to be complete no to that. And but e-business cards is in vogue these days, and your logo, when you design it, it has to be such that it can go on the smallest of business card that you get printed. It can also go on a particular packaging like this one. It can also go on a particular bag. It can also be printed on say letterheads or newsletters that you are printing out. If you know our university logo, Karnavati University, it talks about knowledge and it talks about enlightenment. The colors that I use in that, it's like a jyot, and there's also a peacock on it, and the way it is made, it's like we try and make things better for you, we try and strive, and there are many reasons. When you select a logo, there are many things that actually talks about the brand. We'll get into that at a later stage, but at the moment, let's talk about how to create a logo. If you have friends who are there in the creative field and who believe or who know graphic designing, and if you have friends who are fond of doing graphic designing, if not professionally, you can take their help. Or there are just too many websites that are available which try and give you a very simplistic logo, and which try and give you many options to select from, and you can select one or two logos, and you can ask for people, you can ask opinions of people around, and you can come down to one which you are going to use for a really longer time. These websites also help you print on particular merchandise or a particular business card or letterheads, and it also sends you raw file in case you want to put it down on a bigger scale, like on a particular hoarding, or you want to put it up on say your YouTube channel, and so on and so forth. But a logo is necessary. A logo is of utmost importance. Even if you are following any bloggers that are there on Instagram, you have to understand that they all carry a logo with them. Yeah. You also have to know about the logos that Facebook, Gmail, or Instagram has. It is so simple, and it actually doesn't need too much of detailing, and that is the beauty of an attractive logo. The lesser the mess, the more clearer the lines, the lesser the blurriness, it is going to attract more people towards your logo. Now, why do you need a logo? Because it is your identity. It acts like your surrogate. It acts like your identical twin. When you are not present at a particular place, it actually talks about you. So when you see an F, when you see a Facebook logo, you instantly talk about Mark Zuckerberg and all those people who are working in it. When you see a particular G, you know that it is Google they are talking about, and it is definitely going to talk a lot of things about the people who are working behind it. It actually tells your story. It actually tells what field you are working on. It actually tells a lot about the people you are working for. It has to be vibrant, or it can be black and white depending on the work you are doing. It can have a picture, it can have a graphic designing, or it can be just a simple name depending on what work you are doing. You are the best judge. You know, you can get it is too early a stage to say whether you need writing, whether you need just a picture, whether you need just a logo. Like for example, Instagram doesn't need a name under it saying Instagram. Just the logo is enough, because now it has become very famous, right? But let's come down to that point at a later stage. To begin with, there are many companies which choose their logo very wisely. If you are reading along with me from say page number 111, it says that your company definitely needs a logo, a slogan to build an identity, and definitely a graphic along with it. You can have either two of them, you can have all three, or you can just have one. As far as it is extremely impressive, even one is just okay to begin with. Yeah, it becomes a part of your brand identity for a longer period of time. So whatever that you are selecting, you have to make sure that it is very, very specific, and it is something that you want to stick on for a really long time. When you are making your own logo at the end of this particular unit, you have to make sure that you select something that is very simple, that is identical to what work you are doing. It actually shows the kind of people you want to work with. For example, if you're a tailor, you can have a scissor on your name, Bharat Tailors, and you can have a scissor in the whole the vertical line in the letter B. Or if you are a chef, you can have a whisking tool, whatever that it's called, or you can have a bowl, or you can have some ingredients that says that I am a baking brand. It also helps you attach to people's emotion when they see a particular logo, right? So for example, Pizza Hut itself has a platter of pizza on it. It actually helps you bond emotionally or create a relationship through just a logo. Now, how do you do that? It is all psychological. There's a huge theory and huge research is done about it. If I am able to send the entire file to you over Google Classroom, I'll do that for you, and it tells how a person's psychology works when they see a particular logo of a brand. At the moment, let's learn about how to create a logo that is just so perfect for your particular brand. Yes, if you are with me on page 117, it talks about adding a particular logo under your brand name. So for example, this one, yeah, or this one, yes, both has its own different slogan. Why is a slogan important? Is because a lot of time it touches a person's heart directly, helps you bond emotionally. So there is a brand called De Beers, and they have a slogan called "A Diamond is Forever," and this is something that has been going on for many generations. De Beers is one of the pioneers when it comes to making diamond jewelry, and slogans add in an impact that is necessary for the brand to get identified, not just in the local market or with the already established market, but also internationally. If you ever want to go ahead with certain international bonds, or a certain international creating certain international deals, or creating certain international classic customers and specific places that you want to deal at, having a particular slogan is always going to help you. It tells the people who you are and what are you doing. Like a diamond is forever, it actually talks that there is a company called De Beers which actually is working for a diamond. If you know BMW, the slogan for it is the ultimate driving machine. Yes, it actually says what is BMW, what it produces, what kind of a target audience it has, and it is just very specific with just a few words. So your slogan can be anything from 4 words to 9 words. It is not compulsory to have a slogan, but it is nicer when you can add a little bit of more touch. So for example, a brand which says next to mother's touch, yes, and it can be for a diaper, it can be for a swaddle, it can be for certain very nice soft baby clothes, and it actually says next to a mother's touch. It is beautiful. I really like it, and I can, even if I don't remember a particular brand or its logo, but certain slogans do touch your heart for a really longer time. The next step to creating a perfect logo is having a graphical icon. If you are with me on page 119 of your text, it talks a lot about how it needs to be mess free. That means it has to be neat, it has to be clean. And why do you want that? Because that would actually make it easier for people to understand, remember, and recollect. Now, take your wallet, check if you have any business cards in it, and check how many of them actually have a particular logo on it, and try and check how many of them also have graphics on it. How beautiful it is, whether it identifies with the particular product, a brand name or anything, or it does not relate to it. Most of the time, yes, it is. So anyone who is a broker, anyone who sells houses or is in a construction company, usually has a house or a building or something like that on its business card, which actually means that they mean business. They are really ready to tell you what exactly their work is. It says that you do not need to use too many photographs. Try and keep it very simple. Do not use an icon. So if you are in a brand like Amul, or you are in a brand like Parle, you know the worth of that one picture. You also end up giving away just too many rupees to have somebody's face on it. So for example, Lux, it has to keep on changing the faces of the models it has, and then it came down to one particular logo, and now all the Lux sabun, the soaps, have a simple logo on it as part of the packaging. Again, if you do have a face, it should match what your product is about. Those days are gone when Parle had a girl's face and it became famous and it stayed with it for a really long time. Gone are those days when Amul created a nice caricature and it stayed with it for a really long time. And for that particular logo, they have to make so many various caricatures which made it famous. Yes, there are unusual stories, unusual case studies that we will talk about on a later stage. But at this moment, try and rope in a professional artist if you want a graphic on your logo. Do not do it yourself unless you are extremely good at sketching and all. And don't use anything that belongs to your family, because later on, at a later stage of life, if you do want to have your own personal business, it becomes difficult when you cannot carry the same family logo. Also, it is nice if you have your own separate logo which talks and which identifies your ideas and your visions for a particular brand, a product, or a service. Now, time for something simple and something fun that you can do at home. Make your own logo. Think of a company that you would like to run. You have already learned about specialization. You have already learned about how to identify your target market. And now try and build a logo for your particular company. You are going to make it on a plain sheet of paper, no matter how big or small it is. You are going to take a picture of the same and you are going to send it across to me as part of your internal marking. We will try and select the best ones and reward them at the end of the semester. But at the moment, I want you to make a logo, try and see if you can make a slogan. It is not compulsory. It is not compulsory to even have a graphic, but I would want you to also explain in very short 100 to 150 words why you selected a particular video, why did you select a particular graphic, why did you select a particular slogan, and how much I can identify what kind of a brand it is. I would really want you to work on it at your own free time and send it to me on Google Classroom or just email it to me. I will wait for it and I'll see you in the next class. Please read through to page